been hungry and we understand it and we don't like it. But if you ask how many people have been homeless, virtually no one has been truly homeless, where at the end of a day, you don't know where you're going to lay your head, or if you do lay your head down, you don't know whether somebody's going to come up and pick your pocket or beat you up. All of us have this conception of who we think a homeless person is, and most people have a misconception. We've had people with master's degrees. We've had a person who was a substitute school teacher who was struck by an uninsured motorist and lost everything. We have provided several thousand nights of shelter to children. The youngest child we've had in is 4 months old, and the oldest person we've had was 92 years old.
If you go back to 2013, we realized that some of the people that were eating at the soup kitchen had no place to go in the wintertime. There was no place for them to sleep. So going to the board at the soup kitchen, we said, can we maybe open up the front half of the soup kitchen and just let a couple people just sleep on the floor? The first night, I believe there was like 3 to 6 people, and then the second night it was 10 to 12, and then from 12 to 20, then 20 to 28, up to 30 people. When Joe actually went to St. Boniface says, hey, we can give you the whole entire basement level of the school, or the first level of the school, and then we can transition you from the soup kitchen into your own spot. We found out that the actual warming shelter was not going to be able to be in the St. Boniface school. When we found out that the fire marshal said that there had to be a lot of the sprinkler system and upkeep and up to code, my family talked about giving him the space that we had next door to us at 916 Nebraska.
Our shelter takes anybody and everybody. The police on occasions will bring us people that are highly intoxicated, but rather than putting them in jail, we'll take care of them for the evening, and hopefully at some point in time when whatever it is that's going on in their life that is making them ineligible for the other shelters and programs, that'll turn around, and then we refer them to one of those other shelters so that they can start into some type of program that will get them a more permanent solution to their homelessness.
For me, a success story is any time that we can open up our doors and somebody didn't freeze to death outside. That's a success story for us. People think that because there's a warming shelter that now we're going to have people flocking from other states. 85% of the people that are at the warming shelter are Sioux City natives. I was introduced to Joe, and Joe and us sitting down and talking, I told him my story, and I have a heart for homeless people since I myself was even homeless at one time. So I feel like I got to do my part in helping people who are in the same situation. I have a heart for that.
Like all things, and particularly in a community-based program like the warming shelter, is that it's all volunteer. We needed people to help us, and I was fortunate enough to have a man who generously came on board and took care of a lot of our issues that we had. The floors, the walls, the beds. He made a bunch of steel bunk beds for us. He bought the mattresses. He saw that we needed new washers and dryers and got those set up for us, so he did a monumental job, he and his company.
Being a servant, that's a trait that everyone on this board has. Everybody wants to serve. You have the police chief, you have the sheriff, you have judges. Everyone is doing a service. Joe has a very giving heart. He's always serving, and he does a lot of things behind the scenes. You don't see him doing it, but I've seen him. I see Josh serving as well. The biggest complaint I hear in Siouxland over the homeless people are the businesses. But here's a business owner who's decided that he's going to do something about it. People like Jim Anderson, who've got degrees and who've lived their whole life working in social work, who comes from a whole family. His whole family does social work, and it's about caring for people.
This is our 4th season that we've been open, and in that time, through the end of February, we've provided 34,500 nights of shelter. And so far in 4 seasons, from what we understand from the police and EMS, nobody has died due to exposure in the Siouxland area. This was just a group of people that came together and said, it's not right that any human being freeze to death in Siouxland.